Rashida Tlaib uses the phrase "from the river to the sea," which means the end of Israel. She's even linked President Biden to genocide. Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez joins us now. What should Congress do with her, Congressman?
Well, look, you can't use the rhetoric "from the river to the sea." In fact, that means that you want to wipe the Jewish race off the face of the earth. That crosses the line. And so I'll be looking at what the Congress, the newest resolution says, the censure resolution. I think that my colleague Marinette Miller-Meeks was absolutely right. Representative Green wasn't very thoughtful about her resolution. So the new one, I think, may be much better worded. And you can't say things like that. That is unacceptable to me.
Can we just reverse this for a second? What would be the reaction if inflammatory language was used about black people or Hispanic people or gay people? I mean, somebody would be in prison by now, I'm pretty sure of that, right?
Well, I don't know if you're going to be in prison, but I'm sure you're going to be censured by Congress. And so that's the problem that I have. It's not just political, that, hey, we want political change from the river to the sea. It's that you want to wipe the Jewish people off the face of the earth. That crosses the line in my book.
The Democrats are divided on Israel. The Republicans are not. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, it is, and you'll see it, in the Democrat ranks. I mean, they're going to rally around, Tlaib, and we're not. So, we look. A lot of people say a lot of dumb things here in Congress, okay? But there are things that you can't cross, and I think that Representative Tlaib may have crossed it when she said "from the river to the sea." No, the Republicans are very much united in our effort, and also in our unanimously almost, that we want to help Israel and we support Israel and what they're doing in Gaza. What happened on October 7th was unspeakable. The Israeli people have the right to defend themselves, and the only way that they're ever going to get everlasting peace is with the destruction of Hamas. I think the Republican Party is behind that. The Democrat Party, not so much. They are pretty well divided, although I have to say that the majority of the Democrats do support the Israeli effort, but there is a growing number of Democrats that don't, and that's very troubling to me. And like what you see in campuses around the United States and some of the demonstrations, you wouldn't have seen that 10, 20 years ago, and now you're seeing more and more of it.
That New York Times poll showing Trump leading in 5 battleground states, that's really upset the Democrats. It shows that Democrats are not likely to win. Congressman, would you speculate for me? What do you think the Democrats will do with the Biden-Harris ticket?
Well, I think if it keeps going this way, I think you're going to see more and more people say maybe he shouldn't run, maybe he's too old. I think you've seen that. I think Mr. Axelrod has already said that. He was one of Obama's right-hand people. Are the Obamas, is President Obama going to throw his weight around and say, hey, maybe it's time to let Joe go and find somebody else, because if we don't, we're going to lose in 2024. It's up to the Democrats, but it's looking more and more like, look, the American people, aren't dumb. They see what's going on around the world, what's going on here in the United States, what's going on with the border, what's going on with gas prices. Everything that this president has done is not in the best interest of America or Americans. And so his numbers are going to continue to fall because his policies are just plain wrong. Wrong for America, wrong for Americans.
Congressman, thank you very much for joining us today. We always appreciate it. Thanks, Congressman.
It's my pleasure.